Am a body, I'm gonna guess. That was a really great video. The kind of thing, most times you hear a video and you are debating with somebody or conceiving of the exchange in that way, in the sense that someone is giving you their belief system and you're supposed to find problems with it and assert your own belief system, with the goal of, I guess, proving yourself right, proving them wrong. But of course, your video was more of just sort of taking account of what we're actually doing instead of just doing it, having a battle of intellects. We can take a step back and ask why we're searching for a truth, for reality. What is it that would provide us with exactly? I mean, if we could, hypothetically speaking, think our way to the truth and then have it and know something we didn't already know, what would it do for us? Would it change our lives, or would it just be something that is on a piece of paper or in a book that we can read once and then, I don't know, recite? I mean, it turns into religion. It's, if you're a scientist after the truth about reality, you're looking for the book that's going to explain it all. And, it won't be, it could be a very sophisticated book, but it's still an expectation for a finite set of sentences or propositions, maybe backed up by some elaborate experiment. But still, what does it do for you once you have this truth? And it's a really good question that I can't really answer, because you said it, something like the answer is never going to give up. It's always going to keep leading us on. Every answer just gives the occasion for more new questions. So we're never going to arrive. So, stepping away from the question of what we would do if we did arrive, it doesn't seem like we're ever going to. So we don't really need an answer to that question, because questions and answers are, when you get to the end, all that's left to do is start over. When you get the answer, all that's left to do is think of a new question. So we're not pursuing something that we don't already have. And if we think we are, then we need to stop and take account of what's really going on, which I think is exactly what you did. And I'm glad that you did, so thank you for that. It's funny, I'm reading this book right now, Brian Greene's The Fabric of the Cosmos, about theoretical physics. And physicists are looking for the truth about reality. And the thing is, though, after reading this book about space and time and the texture of reality, I really understand far less about any of those than I did, or thought I did, before I read the book. So I'm completely confused now. I have all this new information to try to digest and fit into what I used to think was going on, and it doesn't seem like there really is a coherent picture, because all we know are, a few details here and there about what might be going on. The answer is always right around the corner, of course. Brian Greene's very excited about all the possibilities, but it seems like that's the perpetual state of physics. There's always excitement about what could be proven tomorrow, and sometimes an amazing new theory is proven, but then it doesn't really solve all the problems. You just go on from there and start figuring out what else you don't know yet, and there's always going to be something. But it's still interesting to know. And if we look at this whole pursuit of knowledge thing, we don't necessarily have to get deluded by the idea that we're actually going to arrive at some final truth. But if we just look at it as more of a conversation, sometimes with ourselves, sometimes with others, no real destination needs to be implied, just a continual exchange of ideas. Which is exactly what we're doing now, what your video was and what my response is. And it works, as long as we realize we're already home, and we can't really expect to find the truth, because we are the truth already. And if you search for it, you're never gonna find it until you realize that it was exactly where you started from. But thanks again for your video. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice change, or sort of brought me back a few steps from reaching out, trying to speculate about the truth and all that. So thanks. Thanks for listening.